As above, so below, by Review Philly. Could you answer a question for me? It'll only take a moment of your life. Let's imagine for a second that you're falling high above everything else. You're suddenly plummeting towards the ground with speed you hardly even comprehend at first. Why are you falling? Does it even really matter? You just are. Well, fine, I guess I owe you a reason. Let's suppose you flew too high with your hot air balloon and, well, things don't always work out so nice. Sometimes silly ponies, of course, I'm not talking about you or me, forget some really simple things, like securing and double checking every rope or something. I'm talking purely hypothetical here, mind you. And let's assume that these same silly ponies had too much confidence. So much so that they even forewent telling any Pegasi about their intended flying route and set off alone. Not that this completely fictitious pony had anything to worry about, right? Balloons are safe and battle tested. No pony has fallen off one for who knows how many moons now. Even the princess's protege likes to ride in them often. And not checking your ropes? Seriously? It's the first thing they warn you against in flight school. It'd take a real idiot to forget about something like that. Not that you or I would ever do that, obviously. So what would happen if this complete fabrication of a pony who hypothetically fell out of their balloon, suddenly found themselves falling towards the earth? What would this pony's state of mind be like? I guess they would spend their last minutes desperately trying to find some way to survive, before making peace and staring at the beautiful scenery in front of them. Those green rolling hills, the majestic mountains in the distance, the imposing silhouette of Canterlot Castle. They would think longingly about those gorgeous arches and artisan towers they only saw from up close once or twice in their life. Maybe regret not visiting the city more often, even though nothing at all would have stopped them from doing so. They could have easily met even the princesses had they been a bit bolder. Or maybe this pony would slowly admit to themselves that the very reason they chose to sometimes sneak away in a balloon towards uncharted lands without telling any pony else was the fact that deep down they always longed for that one tantalizing feeling Earth ponies can never ever truly experience. To soar the skies alone, the whole world being your oyster, and just fly. Fly until your wings ache and your lungs burn, and to know if there is a mountain or city or any single little interesting thing in the distance, you can just go there and conquer it. Now imagine how this pony would feel while falling. Would they scream and cry and pray to the princesses that some pony would find them in those precious few moments and pluck them from the sky before it is too late? Would they feel desperation that they cannot say their sorries and goodbyes? That the very reason they forgot to check their ropes was because they were upset about an argument, the cause of which they can't even remember anymore? Not that it would matter anyways. Or would they realise after the initial shock that this isn't too different from what they've always coveted? That, in a way, they can spread their imaginary wings and dash through the open sky, tumbling and rolling like those daring wonderbolts they always deep down wanted to be a part of, even though that is just a foolish dream. Well, I suppose it's not quite like the real thing, but it's still the closest you'd ever come to that. It'd be almost like a dream for a while, not that I would know. Of course, nothing good lasts forever, and a pony like that would eventually need to make a choice, one I'm sure you've already anticipated for a while. That is, how to land. Because daydreams aside, the ground is still very much rapidly approaching. Should she embrace her fate and land headfirst, death would swiftly and certainly follow. It's not even a question. It would be one final dance in the heavens above, and then tumbling into the great nothing. A simple equation, with an end result you could almost even call kind. But then, that isn't the only option. Perhaps she should try her hardest to land in any other way possible. Who knows, maybe if Harmony wills it, she could survive. The impact would miraculously only dislocate her shoulder, and she could hobble to the nearest town practically unharmed, at least physically. Or perhaps she would hit the ground awkwardly and break every bone in her body, leaving her helpless and screaming in agony, clinging only to the faint hope that another pony would stumble upon her and haul her off to a hospital. Maybe the doctors could fix her and give her a new chance at life, one she might not even deserve after all that has happened. Perhaps she would be left bedridden for the rest of her life, forced to live as a mere shadow of the pony she was before she left. And those were the lucky options. It is equally likely that no pony would come, and she would be left lying there in some deep dark forest or barren outskirt, struck down as punishment for her hubris. I guess that's an outcome I'd rather not think about, even if we are talking about a hypothetical pony still. I know this is not exactly an easy question, and I'm sorry I even need to ask you this. I also know it's super hard to think due to the wind screaming in our ears and blasting in our eyes. But please, hurry. I won't hold it against you, whatever your answer ultimately will be, but please give me one. I'll even close my eyes. I guess we ran out of time. I think I've made my choice.